only real way to handle stress is to learn how to give it to the Lord, because there's too many stresses out there for us to, we can't just withdraw from the world. We have to learn how to rest in the Lord and give it to the Lord. And as things get worse, as the economy just is destroyed, as they devalue our money, people are going to be destitute. And their hearts are truly going to be failing them for fear. And everybody's going to be on some kind of drug. Drugs never cure disease. Drugs only treat symptoms. They cover up the symptoms while the problem continues to get worse. But there is a way to be well. And
we're talking, like you say, all of it's free except the food.
Yeah,
and
right.
the way you recommend,
right.
which is also the quality of your thought and intention. It's sunshine, it's fresh air, it's everything that we no longer utilize.
That's right. And people, so the good news is, you see, we never change if things are going well. But when we've got big trouble, we change. And some people will actually turn to the Lord. There will be no way out. People will say, how do we fight this? There's no way to fight this on our own. It's too big. What's coming down and the manipulation of the currency, this has all been planned way back from the junk bonds with Michael Milken. It was all, that was all done with the junk bonds to generate funds to give mortgages to people who couldn't really afford them, to get everybody in debt up to their ears, and then pull the rug out from under them, as they've done with this planned financial crisis. This is the same sort of thing that happened in 1929, except it's going to be worse now. And people are much more violent now, and they used to be in bread lines, and they used to be orderly, and now they're going to be killing people, you know, in a bread line waiting to get food, because people have become so violent and aggressive, partly because they've learned that on television, partly because they're drinking huge amounts of caffeine, which makes you very
partly
aggressive.
Because they've been playing a lot of video games that have desensitized the brain, sports.
That's right. Video games are terrible, and the stuff that they're putting in those video games. I talked to a little boy the other day who's actually a distant family member, 9 years old, and he was playing a video game. He's a Christian little boy playing a video game. And I was watching play, and I said, well, what are you doing there? He says, I'm killing the bad guy. And I said, oh, really? What did he do? I don't know. And I said, well, how do you know he's bad? Well, the game says he's bad. Now, look at the programming of that.
Exactly.
Here is a child that's being told that this person is bad, and the child is willing to kill this person because someone else told him it's bad. He doesn't even know what he did. That's what's happening to the whole population. I was appalled. And this child was a Christian.
Theoretically,
supposedly.
do not kill.
Right.
Thou shalt not kill.
But it's okay. And the parents, Christians, giving this child this game. I thought, what is going on here?
Right. Let's go back to some of what you were talking about a moment ago in the economy. I wanted to get to this because I had heard this, and I'm going to state it as rumor simply because it hasn't been sourced yet, that the U.S. has, on one level, gone ahead with this plan to create the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, the currency known as the Amero. And what I had heard was that the U.S. had paid the Chinese government 800 billion Ameros.
Right.
Well, Ameros haven't been introduced yet.
Well,
so you said you had heard the same thing.
I have heard the same thing. Certainly we know that the U.S., Canada, and Mexico will be combined by the year 2010. We know that. You can go on the web at cfr.org, Council on Foreign Relations, which is the elitist group in America. It's the Illuminati in America, a group of 3,000 people that are
power
presidents
players.
of universities and head of the industrialists and all those. And so they get together, and on that website, cfr.org, you can see they have published a book putting together a North American community. They're proud of it. They're not secretive about it anymore. And I run into people all the time say, oh, I'd never do that. Of course they're going to do it. It was signed into being in 1990. They've been working on it for much longer than that. It's just going to be like a European Union. They're going to tell you it's being put together for security and trade reasons, but it's not. It's going to be a total unit, and we're going to we've lost our Constitution already and our Bill of Rights, and we're going to get all the bad stuff from Mexico and all the bad stuff from Canada, including human rights tribunals, where you can be brought up in front of a court where you are not allowed to know your accuser, you are not allowed to know what the accusations are, you are not allowed to cross-examine your accuser, and where truth is no defense. Those are happening now in Canada. Truth is no defense. Even though you have to swear on the Bible to tell the truth, if you say something that they don't like, and there are certain groups that don't like things that are being said, they say it doesn't matter whether it's truth, it only matters if we don't like it. And there have been people, I have friends who are in prison now because they have mentioned certain taboos that are not allowed to be said. We're going to get that here in America. That's already the law in Canada. And we're going to get all the drugs from Mexico, and we're going to get all of the problems from Mexico, and our country's gone. So they're developing the North American Union. They already have the European Union. The Asian Union is being put together as we speak. I have Chinese friends who've said, yeah, it's being put together the same way. It will probably go into effect in the year 2010. And on my website, I have a map of the 10 kingdoms up there, which was put together in 1974, and they call them kingdoms. And this is the way they're being put together. So this is happening for a one-world government. There'll be a one-world government, there'll be a one-world religion. And that's what they have to implode the United States.
One world army?
One world army, that's already almost NATO.
Yes.
And one world health organization, it's all going to be run through the United Nations, which is all run by these same elitists.
Yes.
Okay? And we're going to have a Constitution of the United Nations, which eliminates all of our rights. And we're going to have a UN tax, and we're going to, it's all going to be run by the UN. But the people who run the UN are an evil cabal.
Yes.
They are a very evil cabal, and they hate us. As I said earlier, they call us useless eaters and the disgusting public. And so they, people like to think that their government likes them. I just want to say, your government hates you. Your government hates you. People like Prince Philip in England and Prince Charles. Prince Philip, I think he's the one who said he wants to come back as a virus. If he's reincarnated, he wants to come back as a virus to kill as many people as possible on the earth. These people are all part of this environmentalism. They're all part of this green plan that I talked about in Report from Iron Mountain.
Right.
And it's to depopulate the earth because they want the whole earth for them. And you're going to see whole cities being actually confiscated. They're going to try to get people, first of all, the high gas prices will cause people to move back into the cities because they can't afford to commute as much. That's one of the reasons they're doing that. They want to do that. They want to get people back into the city where they can get them almost in rabbit warrens.
Right.
I know I was in Siberia before the wall came down. And on the way to Siberia, I was with another group of doctors. We were going over there to operate with some of these Russian doctors and show them our techniques. And so when we got to Moscow, there was a KGB agent on every floor in the hotel. And when we went up the elevator to go to our room, we had to stop and check in with the KGB agent on our floor. Nobody could come to our room without the KGB officer knowing about it. You see, it's much harder to keep track of people when they're all kind of out here in developments and out in the country and all that. They want to force people into the cities to live in little cubicles so they can keep track of them.
Much more controllable.
That's right.